Hello, it's Siobhan here, the Galloping Housewife. Yep, on my daily yard commute out to see the horses. Haven't, obviously, well, no, not obviously, but I haven't been out since I last spoke to you. But yeah, and actually when I last went out, I didn't get to ride because, as I suspected might happen, I got out there and the weather twined to custard, and yeah, it was one minute it was sunny and absolutely brilliant, and the next it was coming through all squally and sideways rain, and there's just no point. Got Mitch, the young guy, bringing back into work, who is sensitive at the best of times, and also Percy, who's a complete twit. And it's just, there's just no point in putting pressure on them. I mean, well, I don't even know. I mean, if I had Percy coming up to a competition, I probably wouldn't ride him in it either, because it's, if they go out there and they're careening around and running away from you the whole time and you're battling with them, it's no fun for anyone. And actually that's a really good, it's one of my philosophies with working them too. If you go out there and it's all turning pear-shaped, there is nothing wrong with calling it a day, with just going out there and going, and yes, finish on something good, finish on something that they know and they feel comfortable with, but there's no use battling through and forcing anything. All you do is set up resentment, and actually you're either training them or you're untraining them. When you're with the horses, and it doesn't matter whether you're sitting on them, whether you're mucking around with them in the stable, whether you're grooming them or whatever, if you are interacting with your horse, you're either actively training them or actively detraining them. It's something to bear in mind. It's also something to bear in mind when people say that they don't want you to interact with their horses, because sometimes there's a very good reason for that. Sometimes their training is not well enough established, so that if you did something different or set off a different cue or gave them a different reward, it would interrupt the training process. So be really careful not to take that sort of stuff personally, because it's not about you, but it's just about the stage that they're at with their communication and with their training and things. So yeah, but I'm a great believer. I mean, horses, and actually there's a meme going around Facebook at the moment that talks about don't blame the horse. The horse doesn't want to misbehave, and to a certain degree I agree with it. That there is always a reason that the horse doesn't respond to a request, that doesn't give you the answer that you want when you ask a question. But actually, one of the things, although they will not do it intentionally, they can get to a point where their response to a question is a learned behaviour that is extremely negative, and that is something that they have accumulated over time, whether it be from what we call learned helplessness or conflict behaviour. It's just something that they have always associated with that cue, and they've always had a response that has been better for them than, well, they've never been taught that what the correct response, what that would give them. So yeah, and so if you are going out there and you're repeatedly not getting the answers that you want, or there is external stimulus, and it doesn't matter whether they should ignore the external stimulus of flapping flags and all that type of stuff, unless you are specifically going out there to train them to be around flapping flags, which is a whole different ball game, and you shouldn't be trying to do two things at once. You shouldn't be trying to teach them at half past while they're responding negatively to flapping flags. It's like either train them that the flapping flags are not something to run away from, or training the half past. You can't be doing two things at once. You have to wait until one thing is established before the other one is. So if you're going out there and the wind gets right up them, and they're the sort of horse that is oversensitive to that sort of thing, then either go out there and treat it as a day that they're going to learn to stand. You're probably better off doing this in hand. Learn that the wind is not a problem, or go out there to school them. Don't go out there to do both. It's just like running around in circles. So anyway, and I'm add to that the fact that I'm a little bit of a fair weather rider. Okay, a lot of a fair weather rider, and I melt in the rain. Then it's just I do ride in the rain a reasonable amount, but I prefer, if I don't have to, I won't. So it's just the decision. So that was, God, where are we now? We're Tuesday. That was Sunday, and yesterday was absolutely hosing it down as we expected, and now for the next week or 10 days it actually looks okay. But I mean, fucking Scotland, it's winter. It's just like it is what it is. And actually I put that in my wee sort your shit out, the private group that I've got for the people that women that are doing the sort your shit out, that I have this, well, I didn't really have this plan, but I want to get out eventing with Percy this season, and actually the eventing season has started. There's been some shows further down south that have been on, and it doesn't start up here in Scotland for another month yet, but there's been some shows that I could access that have been on, and Percy's not fit. I'm not fit. We haven't jumped anything for months and months and months, anything at all. So we're not ready to go out to a show. But you all know what's been going on with Mitch and being in and out of hospital. So Percy's just had to been picking up the slack, and so that's fine. And it's also, I bought Percy to have fun on, so the last thing I'm going to do is put pressure on him or me to do things that we're not ready for, or anything like that. So and the one thing that I really do want to do is the Bremen this year. So Bremen Horse Trials is one of the bigger, I guess it's 4-star horse trial now. And when they have their big championships FEI show, they are also having the 80 centimetre championships. So I do have to, I think I've qualified already. That's not been put out yet, but I've qualified for the regionals, and then I'd have to go to the regionals and score there to get to go. But I'd quite like to do that. It'd be quite fun to go to a big show at grassroots level, and it'll give me the excuse to go down and watch some of the women that I sponsor. I just had to check myself, make sure there were no men that we sponsor, but we don't sponsor any male eventers, so there won't be any there. Right, so that's me. I have had a really, really productive morning. I am I don't know why my throat is fine. I'm not sick, so don't do the panicky thing. But I have spent this morning being really productive in front of the computer, as much as it does my fucking head in. Well, it doesn't do my head in. I enjoy it and I'm good at it. But I wrote a lot this morning, and so that feels good. Good to have gotten that checked off, and so head out, do some riding, and yeah, I think I said on the last one of these that it's just a week of doing stuff, just working and writing, which is really rather nice at the moment. And as the one family that we do spend a bit of time with up here has got COVID for the second time. Well, the youngest child has got COVID for the second time. And yeah, for those Kiwis out there that are sitting there going, hey, everyone's going to get infected, well, you might get infected fucking multiple times, because this kid has had it twice in so where are we, middle of March, and the last time we were supposed to be going there on the last weekend of January, and we didn't go, so because she had COVID. So there you go, so it's about 6 weeks and she's got it again. Yeah, so it's like, gotta find another solution. Everyone getting it is not it. Yeah, and I'm not going to go here and have another rant about long COVID and the risks and all that type of shit, because it does my head in. It does my head in that people still don't think this is a serious threat. Yeah, so on that note, I'm going to fuck off now, and I will hopefully catch you tomorrow. Alright, bye now.